Man, I tell you what, Google has been cooking lately. They've just keep releasing banger after banger. Now, is it perfect? No, and I still think they fall short in a lot of ways. But the progress that they've made since January 14th of 2025 is astounding. When I did this video, I actually was very disappointed in Gemini because I felt like they had all the opportunity in the world. I felt like they actually could give some competition to OpenAI and Claude and actually be a contender. And at that point, just a mere 2 months ago, I actually felt like they were very far away. That has changed over the last 60 to 70 days now. Gemini 2.0 Flash, it's become one of my most used models. It is just a value king. It does an incredible job for very, very little cost. Secondly, they are constantly updating and improving things. Their models seem to significantly get better. And that is true with the latest update where they released this blog post on March 18th, 2025, and they talk about Canvas. If you're familiar with artifacts, it basically allows you to preview code or preview an application that you're working on. And it also goes beyond that, which I'll show you. It allows you to actually incorporate it with Google Docs, which honestly I love. I love the collaboration feature that you have here. And then you can pinpoint areas in the artifact to actually say, I want this to be different, or I want to change the tone of this. And I'll show you how all that works. And here's an example. So this is Gemini Advanced 2.0 Flash. I simply said, make a Tetris game. It generated all the code for it, and it's about 685 lines of code. And I can hit preview, and I can actually play this game, and it's fully functional in the browser. So I can hit buttons to play, I can rotate, everything is really well done. Now, there are a few limitations that I've run into with this, just to be very clear, and I'm not sure how to overcome them. For example, this is 685 lines of code. There are others that I've done that actually wouldn't go beyond like 480 lines of code and it would just cut off. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to complete. So I kept removing more and more and more functionality to actually get it to a size so I could actually preview it. And I think it depends heavily on what you're artifacting. One of the things that I was artifacting there was a React application. It feels like when I'm using React, I have a lot less context I can work with. So I think one of the improvements they need to make is I need to be able to complete whatever this is. If I'm prototyping something out, I'm doing it to see if it's worth me building a lot of times. Now, this is one that I'm really excited about. So I'm not very good at social media posts. And one of the things that I've started to experiment with is the idea of taking a transcript from a video I made, putting it into AI, and having it help me at least ideate a Twitter thread, or I guess an X thread now. And check this out. So it took one from my last video, so where I was talking more about the QWQ model, and it did a great job breaking it up. Then let me show you the modification features. So one, you can highlight it, all the normal stuff you can ask Gemini about it. But I can say change a length, and I can say short, very short, or I can go long. So I'm going to go ahead and hit very long here, and let's see what happens. It inserts it correctly in here, and it has extended the length of this to a decent amount. Now I can also do this, so I can actually go in here and I can change my tone. So let's see, I want this to be very casual, just to show you what this will look like here. Yo, so LLMs are super right or super smart, right? They can do all kinds of crazy stuff, but like when they really get you thinking, they can be kind of slow. That is awful, but you get the idea here. So let's go to very formal now and just see how that actually works. We're going to go from like the super, super informal to very formal. Large language models, while exhibiting considerable computational sophistication, may demonstrate diminished efficiency in certain operational contexts. I love this UI. The idea of just being able to do this like little mini slider here to change it from to change the length or to change the tone of it. I think this may actually become the norm for how we do some of this stuff. This is just going to make sense for regular users. It's incredibly, incredibly good. So yeah, they've done some amazing stuff here. Then I love the integration with Google Docs. Export this to Google Docs, and now I can actually tweak it. I can share it. I can get feedback on it. You know, if I'm working with a teammate on something, I can send them that Google Doc. that I've worked on with AI, and now they can leave comments and give me feedback on it. And my company, we're all Google. We use Google Drive for everything. We use Gmail. So seeing this has actually got me more and more excited about what Google's doing. Now there is some limitations with Canvas in particular. If you switch over to Pro mode, you do not have access to Canvas or deep research. So just to give you an example, this is something that I was just mocking up with, just very basic. This is what I do. Like a lot of times I'll have an idea and I'm like, what could that look like? So I would take and iterate on this a bunch. So I would want this to look very different, right? I want this to be a bigger text box. I'd want this to not be sitting outside of here. But I love being able to take and just brainstorm ideas. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing around with this AI book writer. If you don't know, I've open sourced an agentic AI book writer that actually I really was proud of. But the more and more I've learned, what I've learned is that I actually think I need to make it more workflow oriented. So I'll be doing a video very shortly on this, which I will be open sourcing the version 2 of this in that same repository. So if you're following it, you'll get this update. So Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash image generation experimental is fantastic. Now, is it perfect? By no means no. But no other model was able to do what I'm about to show you here. I want this bag to stay exactly the same, but I want to change the lady's clothing and put her in a medieval setting. Now, the bag, if you were to do this in other models, you would end up with a completely different bag. But check this out. We've got the bag nearly identical. We've still got the pocket. We've got the 2 rivets here. We've got the same color strap. She's actually in a nice medieval setting. Amazing. Like the things you can do with this particular tool is phenomenal. So I took that same prompt and I said, rotate her a little bit more to face more forward. Look at that. It looks incredible. It did such a great job. And even the hand is perfectly, we've got the right number of fingers actually there. I am super impressed with this model in particular. If you give it a good reference image, it can do some incredible edits to it. I will show you something that actually makes it look not so good. So for example, I'm going to go into this one here. I gave it a bag of Lay's potato chips and I said, make it sit on a nice wooden table in a beautiful dining room. And it made it sit on a nice table, but it actually didn't like modify the image properly. And in fact, I lost some of the logo there. You do need that like natural setting to kind of put it in, and you'll get some amazing, amazing results there. I thought this was kind of funny. So I basically took a picture of an actual Lay's bag of potato chips sitting on, just a nice wooden table. And I told it to make the table beach themed and that keep the bag exactly the same. It's got a nice little shadow there. Again, the logo gets messed up, but this is the best that I've seen so far. This could get better, the point where we can actually generate product placement images without skewing up the packaging. So again, I know I'm very focused on this one particular use case, but I thought this was kind of cool. And don't forget, recently Google released the Gemma 3 series. If you want to try out one of them without having to run it locally yourself, you can go to aistudio.google and check out the Gemma 3 27B parameter model right there. Now, I haven't found them to be incredibly good at coding, but that's the nature of it. Like you're going to have models that are better at some things than others. But yeah, anyway, going back to this, I think Google's making amazing inroads. It doesn't feel to me like they're putting a dent in OpenAI or Claude yet. It just feels like they're getting all the publicity. But it does feel like Google is making some great progress. And I believe over time, we're actually going to see them do significantly better. So yeah, that about wraps it up for this video. I just wanted to call out all the things that Google's been doing lately. And to showcase that in 2 months, I went from being kind of bearish on Google to very excited about the updates that they're doing. Let me know in the comments below if you've had a chance to play with some of these new features and what your thoughts are. Till next time, everyone. Peace out.